Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome, wherever you are on the globe. How are you? Big Joe Shep here, chatting tonight. This is the second in our coffee and chat series. I hope you like the palatial surroundings that we've put in place for a fireside chat. And he's in his kitchen. It's great stuff. Please welcome my very, very good friend, coffee aficionado, cigar smoker, raconteur, moderator on an Irish rugby fan forum, just all around gentleman, good guy, and chef de cafe, founder at the Coffeedog.ie, Johnny Pullen. Johnny, how are you?
Good evening, Shep. I am very well, and as always, delighted to see you.
Good man. Listen, there's been loads and loads of stuff happening, and we just wanted to give some updates out. So, how have you been, John, sort of COVID-19?
I'm not going to lie. Good days and bad days, and I think it's quite important that we all realize that we're going to have bad days and don't get upset about it. You know, there's times when things are going to be tough, and you just got to get through it to the next day. It's one step at a time. But in general, no, I'm blessed. I have family. I haven't seen them for a long time, but I've got good friends, and I'm blessed. I have good friends, and we support each other, sometimes from distance, sometimes within 6 foot, but we look after each other, and I think that's very important.
Brilliant. So tonight we're going to go through, we've got some new products on the market recently since the last time we had our fireside chat, and we're going to go through those. We've got some breaking news, I believe, as well, and we're going to go through for each show now a couple of different. You can't see that because I'm not thinking. A couple of different. A couple of different types of coffees. There we go. So to start off with, though, let's cover. What have you introduced recently, and why? Why now?
To be honest, there's a couple of reasons. The first reason is that I am isolated, same as everyone else. So I have a lot of time on my hands and a lot of time on my mind. So I've been doing a lot of work that way. And I've introduced chai tea, which is a very saucy little drink. It's a bit of a misnomer because chai is tea in essence, but that's a nice one to have. Do you know what? The way I describe it is like a sophisticated adult Horlicks, not like a retired person's Horlicks. It's got some lovely herbs, some lovely spices, some lovely Oriental stuff going on there. And it's really good to make you sleep or to help you sleep. I'm not make you sleep. It's not a drug. I've got granulated chocolate. I've got a really good and close friend over in England, Kate, and she has a gorgeous daughter. And she orders coffee off me, and basically her daughter's like, what am I getting? So we've developed this nice coffee drink, which is creamy and indulgent and rich. And I really do not recommend to have the amount of marshmallows that she puts in it, because we cannot take responsibility of any of the health issues there. But it's only a treat for now and again, and it's really nice. And the other one is it's a Latin American blend, which has got some very nice Brazilian, some very nice Colombian. The Brazilian that I have, the fine cup, and the Colombian I have, but it's got a bit of Honduran as well. Now, Honduran's a very interesting blend because Honduras wasn't allowed and couldn't export coffee for a long time. So they had to go into other countries and export from there, which means that their coffee was exceptionally expensive. And it wasn't popular because crazy prices and all that. But now they actually had their own little sort of market there, like a commodity stock market. So they can export and they can buy. And it's this Honduran. It's just a little bit funky. I don't know, but it's just there's a lovely tang to it, a bit of depth to it. So the Latin American, I think it's really nice. It's a clever little blend. Well, obviously I'd say that because I made it, but it's a clever little blend of some very good coffees from 3 brilliant coffee producers.
Brilliant stuff. And so the hot chocolate really was for our young friend. And
to be honest with you, it was. It was something which I was kind of challenged to do, and I am aware that, like, coffee is it's something that it's a niche market. Really good coffee, specialty coffee, is a niche market. It's growing all the time as people realize there is a significant difference between and I'm not going to mention the brands because you get upset if I say the brands, but let's say the instant coffee market and the proper coffee market. And especially now when you can actually, through many different methods of delivery at home, have a coffee as good as and a significantly amount cheaper than what you get in a lot of the coffee shops out there. Not that I'm saying they're not good. Don't go to chains. Stay away from the Bucks. Stay away from the Ostlers. Go to local, independent coffee shops run by families who know what they're doing and take pride in it. And what they're doing is giving you a bit of their heart every time you have a coffee, rather than these branded things. Or just buy my stuff.
We got lots of questions that we sent both unbelievable, and it's fab to see the way that it is growing, and the photographs that people put send what they're doing and stuff like that, which is absolutely brilliant to see. And you doing your bits of food and stuff, really great. It's a really great sort of family small business I feel too, which is fab. We do get questions though on the is it not just easier for me to buy X from the supermarket? But it's more than that, isn't it? It's not the elephant in the room. For most people is money, but actually we're supporting the local business. Well, actually, that local business is developing pretty globally, now in the way you're sending it to. But as well as us supporting you're supporting your community as well, and the stuff that you give away for a start, mate. You really are a very, very generous man, without a shadow of a doubt. But also, tell us a little bit about where the stuff comes from, because you're supporting those small farmers as well, aren't you? Actually,
there's a lot of coffee's a funny thing because we all, or most of us, drink it in some way or another, whether it be some sort of a instant coffee, or we go to a big chains, or we and more of us do obviously have our own coffee and our own grinder, our own coffee machines, where we have a French press or an AeroPress and all that. But what people don't realize is that coffee farming is very, very small business. There is millions upon millions upon millions of coffee farmers out there. A lot of them are less than a hectare in size. They sell their coffee in little sort of communes, cooperatives, and it's subsistence level farming. It's pretty much all organic. It'll never be called organic, because in order to be called organic, you have to spend about $2,000 a year to be registered as an organic, and $2,000 a year is all the money they make that year. Wow. So that's never going to happen. But coffee is a tree that has a fruit, that has a berry, and inside that berry is a double-sided seed. And that seed eventually becomes your coffee bean. So coffee is a fruit business. It's fruit. These people have orchards.
But small holdings, just enough.
Tiny small orchards all over the world. Most of them near the Tropic of Cancer or the Ecuador, not the equator, because of certain climate conditions that needs to happen. And like wine, a lot of these things have a terroir, a location, a microclimate, which change. There's two types of coffee in the world. There's Arabica and Robusta. Arabica is a saucy little thing, and it's the clever one, the really what's the best way to put it? Like a Pinot Noir. Okay. It's hard to grow. It needs certain conditions, and it gives a very sophisticated and very complex taste profile. Robusta is more like a Merlot. It's the kind of wine that gets put into almost all blended wines, gives it a lot of body and a lot of depth. Now, Robusta will grow almost all places. Now, in saying that, the different types of Arabicas, the different complexities completely change depending on the wind off the sea, the altitude, the soil type. It's almost exactly the same as wine, or more importantly, it's more exactly the same as fruit. fruit has different textures. I mean, how many times have you had a pear and you touch it and it almost falls apart in your hands, and the next time you have a pear and you got to like chew through the skin, and that's because of where it's grown, the conditions, the climate, the soil, the way it's on the left hand, like the west slope or the east slope of the hill. And coffee is as simple as that. And people don't realize the coffee bean is literally a double-sided seed from a cherry from a fruit tree.
Wow. And there you go. And that is coffee. And this is why we're bringing you these shows now to educate more. Listen, we have some breaking news. I understand there's a big announcement which is going out now tonight. So when people watching this afterwards, they'll find out here. What's the big news at Coffeedog.ie?
Well, I'm not sure. It's big news in my world. It might be a little bit big news in your world, Joe. But no, I've got a new coffee coming out from Kenya next week. And I'm very excited about it. Kenya is, and there's a lot of history here, which I'm not going to get into because it's quite complex, but Kenya probably has the most sophisticated coffee producing system in the world. They are the cutting edge of technology. And Kenya is one of the few countries in the world where you have reasonable sized plantations. When I say reasonable sized plantations, I'm saying something like a cabbage farm in Lusk, which is massive for a coffee thing. And they have the technology and they developed the technology. So you have a very high quality, and it consistently stays there. This is some of the best coffee you will get in the world every single season. Other coffees are like wines where France, you can have a Bordeaux, a Chateau Beaucastel, which is wonderful in 86 and crap in 87 because of the weather, because of this, because of that. Kenya produces some of the best coffee every single year. And a lot of it is really genuinely due to the fact that they have, and it could be because, well, from what I've been told, a lot of the, once Kenya and the English or the British were leaving the colony, a lot of the civil servants who were excess went into the coffee business, and they were supported by grants from the British Empire at that stage. These were smart boys. These were guys who were trained and smart boys, and they thought we can either, as my dad would say, work hard or work clever. And they've developed technology, they've developed testing, they have some fantastic beans. And the big thing about Kenyan coffee is every single year, every harvest is superb.
Excellent. Brilliant. I'll look forward to that one as ever. And so great news there. New Kenyan coffee coming out this week. And that'll be in beans and ground, presumably.
Oh, yeah. The only coffee I don't do ground is the black. Yeah. And the reason I don't do this is because this is a very, very exceptional and special coffee. And I only do it in beans because a lot of the people who want the way you deliver coffee, the way your delivery system for coffee, whether it be you have a nice fancy coffee machine, whether you have a French press, whether you have an AeroPress, whether you have a mocha pot, the grind changes each time because a finer grind is better for the machines, for the French press. A harsher grind is better for the AeroPress and the mocha. It's all to do with getting the water through at the best pressure to extract enough or the most amount of flavor. Because this is a really, really special coffee, I have chosen to keep that at beans so the people who can buy it will grind it to whatever they want it to be, because the people who are going to buy that know their coffees and they know exactly how they want to have it.
Superb. Brilliant. Great idea. Love all that piece. Each show we're going to go through one or two of the different types, aren't we? Going to explain them a little bit more. So tonight we are going to have a look at, don't forget, we get asked all the time, is the promotion still on? Yes, it is. When you go to order your coffee and you go to the checkout, in the promo code, put SHEP, SHEP, and Johnny and the team will give you 20% off there. And that's
and until Monday at midnight, because it's a bank holiday, and because, let's be honest, it's a pretty miserable time at the moment. So what I'm giving away at the moment, any order before Monday at midnight gets a free bag of the full swing, either beans or ground. just
Brilliant.
because, look, we're all suffering, and I love my coffee. And what's happened recently is that so many people are sending pictures of my coffee in their house, with their pets, in their trees, with their kids, using it for, and I genuinely, it touches me. It's these are tough times, and those sort of connections. I know probably 50% of my customers' first names now, and they contact me and they private message me, and they're looking for what should I do, and it's something that has happened because of what's going on. Although we're further apart, people are trying to get closer together. Exactly, Joe. And so, yeah, look, it's a little thing, but if I love the full swing, you love the full swing, and if people, make an order, any order, I don't care. Order 1,000 years off me, order €6.95, €6, whatever it is, and you will. And with Joe's the Shep discount code, basically, I'll come around, mow your lawn, whatever, just. Whatever needs to be.
20% off using the Shep discount code, and throw in a free bag until midnight on Monday. Fair play to you, mate. Well done for that. In fact, actually, I will amend the. Here we go. Pat Jordan says, "We love you, Johnny."
And I hope she's warmed up, because she was colder earlier.
Oh, bless. Well, there you go. We hope that you warmed up. And if we look in our, in fact, if I do that up again, you're looking at a nice fireside surround background picture in the nice sort of fireside in the back of where I am. Virtually,
in his palatial mansion.
It is my palatial mansion, virtually. There we go. So we like to bring you fireside chat. You've got to have a bloody fireside. So one of us, I just can't do the same thing for Johnny where he is currently. But
I think my landlord might complain if I had a fire in here.
Yeah, absolutely. So promo code SHARE, 20% off, and until midnight Monday night, you'll get a free bag of grains or beans or ground of the full swing, which I really, really rate. So in fact, what I'll do, mate, which I forgot about that, is I'll go back into the original post shortly, and I'll put those up there, so just people are reminded as well for anybody watching afterwards. Right. So our two coffees to chat through very quickly tonight. The first one is the Italian espresso. Tell us about that, John. What is it? Where do the beans come from? How is it made? What makes it an Italian espresso?
All right. I still have a very good friend, Tullio, who owns a fantastic Italian coffee bar in Bray, and he is the epitome of a man from Italy who owns a coffee bar. His concentration, his focus on making coffee the best he could do. He opened up at 7 a.m. Once he'd cleaned his machine, the first thing him and his wife would do would be have an espresso to taste it, to see if it was right. And if it wasn't right, he'd strip the machine back again, he'd go off. It's like a great Irish barman, Yeah. And he was a good man. We made some good money together in another coffee business. But what I wanted to do was be able to have that sort of a coffee in my house, a genuine Italian type espresso in my house, in my home, because as much as I love Tullio, sometimes it's a bugger of a walk there, and more importantly, a bugger of a walk back. So what I have in this is there's some nice Colombian, there's some nice Brazilian, but more importantly, there's an Indian parchment. Now, the Indian parchment is a Robusta, and that's the guts of it. That's the legs of it. That's if you have a glass of, and I'm going to continually refer to wine in all these conversations, because it's almost, yes, sir, it's almost exactly the same conversation. It's almost exactly the same process. And the Robusta gives it that length, that's richness, that's depth. The two Arabicas give it the sophistication, give it a little bit of sweetness, give it a little bit of the aroma, but it's the Robusta that pulls it together and just makes it a real proper espresso, Italian espresso. And look, whatever you say about the Italians and their very tight trousers, gentlemen, seriously, they know coffee. They understand coffee, and it's just, this is the first coffee I made. The day I had this, in my home, I sat there grinning like a fool for hours. I was like, yes, that worked. That's good.
Excellent. So, is that still the most popular, John, or which is your
It's from the possibly from when I started. Yes, I would say Full Swing has been exceptionally popular the last couple of months since we launched it. A lot of that is to do with the fact that it's a real breakfast coffee. It's the kind of coffee that you have in the morning. It's got Vietnam only make Robusta. And they make the best Robusta in the world. And it is Vietnam have an amazing coffee culture. They have their own way of doing drip feeding coffee. They're fantastic. And the Full Swing, it's my preferred breakfast coffee. It's like getting a slap in the face with a velvet glove. It's lovely. It's gorgeous. The aroma. It's got great depth. It's a dark roast. It's got real bite to it. But I would say, yeah, the Italian is over the years that has been the biggest seller, and it's a really nice coffee. It's a good coffee. There's a lot of people out there who are very sophisticated in their coffee taste, and we have a lot of stuff that they can have. The Costa Rican goes very well. I know you love the Brazilian Fine Cup, which has a lot of. Yeah, it's a great. And the other thing I would say, and it's something I've said with you for years, and what you're starting to do is take the beans. Take the grinds, mix them. Make your own coffee blends.
That's been fab.
It's your own taste.
And actually, you had been saying that to me, and then I got to, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, and I had a little bits left, enough for it to grind some beans from two. And I thought, well, I'll just try them actually, and it was like a taste bloody sensation. Yeah. It was fun.
But write down what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like anything. Is you get a decent bottle of, we go back to wine again. You get a decent bottle of wine, and then you forget to take the label off. So that's why I'm in the Naked Wines coffee, Naked Wines wine club, because I can remember what I've ordered there. But there we go. What else? So that's our Italian espresso. Ladies and gents, if you just joined us, you're welcome to the show. I'm chatting with founder and chef de cafe and all-round good man restaurateur and rugby fan, my dear friend Johnny Pullen from Coffeedog.ie. Go back to the beginning because we were talking about what's been happening, the new products he's brought out. Got another product coming out next week as well. Go and try the chai tea. Go and try the hot chocolate he's got on there now. Coffee comes in beans and ground, and so you can have those as well. And the promo code is still going. Go to when you order your coffee, go to the promo code, put in SHEP, S-H-E-P, you get 20% off. And until midnight on Monday, every order will get a free bag of what are we giving away?
Full Swing, Joe.
Full swing. Sorry, yes. Man, no. I'll tell you why I'm getting confused is because I'm looking at this next one we're going to talk about just now. I just because I'm convinced you named this after some girl you met in Brazil once. It is called the Fancy SHG Koya Melter Black Honey. Oh, Mr. Johnny, call me Shank. Tell a story, tell the truth, tell whatever you want. I can make it all up.
And I'm sure you will. There are several ways of drying coffee. Some of the most sophisticated and labor-intensive ones are called the honey method. Now, it's called the honey method. It's nothing to do with honey or anything like that. But you have yellow, red, and black honey. And that's to do with that you have the cherries. Once you've washed the coffee, most industrial production would wash the cherries off, and then they would dry the beans. But the honey method is you wash a certain amount of the cherry off. Now, the black honey leaves quite a lot, maybe about 70% of the actual cherry outside. Now, what that means is that it needs to be, for one, kept in the shade, because in direct sunlight, it would cause it to rot, and it's bad. So it has to be in the shade, which means it takes a lot longer to dry. Mm-hmm. Also, it needs to have a lot of, even more than usual for coffee, a lot of labor intensity, because it needs to be turned all the time. Also, it needs to be made sure that it isn't going to get moldy, because it's a fruit and it's in heat. And what happens is, as you do this, the actual cherry almost bleeds into the coffee bean, the seed. So what you get is a far more complex flavor profile, and tiny bit of sweetness. Now, when people say sweetness, it's sweetness in a coffee world. It's not like sugar or anything like that. But when you look at it's once again very similar to wine. When people say there's a residual sugar there and all that, a lot of the cheaper wines actually throw sugar in to give that, so it attracts people.
Yeah.
I'm not saying yellowtail. I'm not saying not, but with this, you have a natural sweetness and depth that comes into the bean itself. But what happens is, because it's in the shade, because it needs to be constantly monitored because of mold or other things that could happen to it, it's very labor intensive, incredibly labor intensive. And remember that all coffee, when it's dried, is labor intensive. It's put on decks, patios, an area about the size of a basketball court, and people turn it over all the time. But with the honey method, it's almost constant. It's like the people who paint the bridges in the Severn Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge. It's a constant thing. And if you don't do it, what happens is it starts to rot, and then it's gone, out of it, bye-bye. So what you get is a very, very, very complex flavor profile. It starts off in a rich way. At the very end, you get a little bit, and there's a lot of, you do get a lot of chocolate in most coffees, good coffees, in the back of your throat. But this, it just goes. Really, really, really clever and interesting. And it's rated in cupping tests at 85 plus, which is ridiculous, because when you do the cupping tests for the specialty, the SCA, the Specialty Cupping Association, the Coffee Association, you're talking about guts of a dozen to 20 people, all of them, as we all have totally different tastes. For it to get 85 plus points is pretty much as good as it gets.
Wow, that's unbelievable, isn't it? And you wonder, to be honest, because it's so labor intensive like that, you wonder how you can do it at such a price. To be honest, I mean, it is pure quality. Again, we go back to before what we were saying about price of, you can go to it's like anything. If you want a vitamin from a supermarket, well, go to a vitamin supermarket, but it ain't going to do you much really that good. If you want quality, then you get quality, and that's it. And also, it's quality. It's convenience to your house. You're shopping local and supporting small businesses. You in turn are supporting, lots of people in Ireland.
Yes.
Yourself, businesses yourself, and supporting them, and supporting the coffee growers and suppliers. It's just a fab thing. Is Paul Rooney. Paul, how are you? We hope you are well. Has just bought his first bag.
He has.
To them. Good stuff. Yep. Great to hear.
And it was sent out yesterday. Should be, unfortunately, the bank holiday weekend will probably be Tuesday. I use On Post. I use registered delivery. Normally, it's put in the post in the morning and it's with you the next day. Joe will attest to that. But absolutely, I can't help you with the bank holiday. And I don't use couriers because they are so snowed under at the moment that you are going to get, you're going to get delays, and rightly so. And they're doing a fantastic job. I have never had an issue with On Post. They're brilliant, and they do a great job. And look, it's me paying them is like paying tax as well. It goes into the government. As you were saying about the black honey, it's the most expensive coffee I sell. It's the least amount of money I make on coffee. My thing is I'm never going to make much, if any, money on this coffee. I want people to taste my coffee. Yeah. And I think this is a very special coffee, and I priced it as cheaply as I can. And if you like it, brilliant. It's a very special coffee. It's not an everyday coffee, but then again, we don't have champagne every day, do we? But for special occasions, it's a good thing. But yeah, it's special, it's clever, it's interesting, and I just want, if I can get some people to actually enjoy what you love eating, and it's so good for your digestion, eating the coffee beans as well. It really is good. It's got so many antioxidants in it that coffee is, that you can actually chew it. If you have indigestion, a couple of coffee beans, clear it straight up.
Every time I put a pot on, I will have one or two. I'll chew them away. It's it's not just habit; it's just bloody lovely, and it really is. And I had indigestion. I was struggling a little bit late, and anyway, I don't want to take medicine and stuff like that. I had a couple of coffee beans, and it was I don't know, maybe I was telling myself inside, but it certainly solved the issue. But yeah, they are. I mean, decent coffee, full of antioxidants and stuff like that. So absolutely fab. Kika has put a message up. Whoops.
Kika the cake maker. She makes those magnificent cakes, remember?
In fact, in the next show, which probably will be in 4 weeks' time or so, we'll see if Kika the cake maker is free. I'm chewing on my coffee now. Coffee beans.
I have to be honest, Joe. She would look a lot better than us on the screen.
Well,
we need a lot better.
To be fair, we need something, don't we?
Gotcha. We're homely.
We're homely, something like that. Mate. That's why I put a fancy. That's why I'm in a fancy chateau or Schloss Bod.
A baronial mansion.
Baronial mansion. Yeah, there you go. It was Kika. Yeah, Kika. We'll have a chat with you about getting on and talking about cake, because cake and coffee, as our good friends in Germany would say, Kaffee und Kuchen.
She's a genuine artist. A genuine artist.
We're seeing some of the stuff on her page, absolutely brilliant. And again, so let's support some more local business. So, John, you sort that out, and we'll get her on the next show with some of her cakes, and we'll have coffee and cake. You likes to listen when you talk about coffee. Good stuff. Well done, you. Right, you're on the next show. Done. Deal. We're going to do this. There we go. Right, time to finish off. We're over the 30-minute mark. So I've been chatting, Big Joe Shep. I'm chatting with the founder and chef de cafe and aficionado of coffee and life and all sorts, Mr. Johnny Pullen. It's been a real pleasure. And so we've been go back to the beginning, lads, and watch it. If you're coming into it late, we've been talking about the new products, the new ground and bean coffee that he put in, the hot chocolate and the chai tea, and then we've got a new Kenyan one next week here. Johnny's been telling us. And what else? And go to the promo code and put the promo code in when you order your coffee, SHEP, SHEP, and you get 20% off. That's still on.
Capital letters,
SHEP. Yeah, there's only one Big Joe Shep, so it could have been capitals, SHEP, and 20%. Well, the world couldn't take two of me, could they? That's nothing I am. So Shep gives you 20% off, and until midnight Monday, any order you put in between now and midnight Monday, the end of the bank holiday weekend, you'll get a free bag of Full Swing, which is just an unbelievable taste. So do that. We will see you in a few weeks' time with Kika the cake maker, and until then, Bob says, wash your paws, stay safe, and I'm going to go and take me and my red wine to Schloss Bod around me and enjoy the baronial circumstances.
Cheers, brother. Take care.
All right, I'll take care now. Thanks for everybody who's tuned in. Cheers, John. Take care.